Preamble of the Indian Constitution. This preamble is based on the objective resolution which is moved by Jawaharlal Nehru. Objective resolution was moved in 1946 and it was accepted in 1946. Preamble comes into adoption in 26th November 1949. So the content of objective resolution is moreover similar with the preamble except of the fact that this point is not in the preamble. The land would make full and willing contribution for the promotion of world peace and welfare of the mankind is not present in the preamble, right? So here also it mentions what India is. India as a union is already mentioned. So we have this in part 1 of the Constitution, Union and its territories. But the objective resolution has mentioned that India shall be a union of the erstwhile British Indian territories, Indian states and other parts outside British India, and Indian states are willing to be a part of the union, right? So this is mentioned over here. So India shall be the union of the erstwhile British Indian territories, Indian states, and then we have other parts which is mentioned, which is outside the British India, and states which are willing to be a part of the union. All the powers and authority of the sovereign and independent state and its constitution, the powers are with the people of India. This is what is also mentioned in the preamble. So only 2 points which are differing from the preamble. These are the 2 points which are differing from the preamble. Also, we do not find socialist and then secular in preamble. This is because they were added by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1976. All the powers and authority of the sovereign and independent India and its constitution shall flow to the from the people. It is flowing from the people. All the people of India shall be guaranteed and secured social justice is social, economic, and political is a justice. Equality of the status, and then we have the opportunity. So we have equality is of the status. So there is equality of the status and then we have the opportunity. Now, territorial integrity of the republic. The integrity word is also mentioned over here and its sovereign rights on the land, sea and air. So the sovereignty is also mentioned, right? Rights over the land, air and then we have the sea shall be maintained according to the justice and the law of the civilized nations. The land would make full and willing contribution to the promotion of world peace and welfare of the mankind. Preamble was adopted on the same day of adoption of the Constitution, that is on 26 November 1949. American Constitution was the first to begin with the preamble. So who started the preamble? American Constitution. Preamble starts with we the people of India having solemnly resolved. We are resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure all its citizens. Right. Now, we the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India, there is no comma. Sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. There is no comma. This means that all together make the characteristics of India, not single character. They all combine to make the nature of India. So this defines the nature of India, which is already present. We have sovereignty. We are socialist, secular, democratic, and republic. But we need to achieve the objectives of justice. So justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, and integrity. Justice is social, economic, and political. Liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. Equality of status and opportunity. And to promote among them all, we need to promote fraternity, assuring that the first is individualistic dignity of an individual, and then we go for the unity and integrity of a nation. In our constituent assembly this 26th November, so the date is like 26th November of 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this constitution. Adopt. The commencement of the constitution is 20 6th January 1950, but adopt an enactment is on 26th November 1949. Features of the preamble is we the people of India. Words show source of the authority that the constitution derives its authority from the people of India. So we say that the constitution and it is deriving its authority from the people of India. We can say that the constitution derives its authority from the people of India, right? And not handed down to them by a king or outside powers. The constitution derives its power from the people and not by a king or outside powers. The nature of the Indian state. It is sovereign and social, secular, and then we have it also as democratic republic. Sovereignty implies that India is neither a dependency nor it is a dominion of any other nation, but it is an independent state. That is what sovereignty means, that India is neither a dependent nor dominant. It is in dominion, sorry, it is independent state. People have the supreme rights to make decisions on the internal as well as the external matters. No external power can dictate the government of India. Now, though in 1949 India declared the continuation of her full membership, 1949 is when we adopt, enact, and give to ourselves. Adopt, enact the constitution. At the same time, 1949 is when we are declaring our continuation for the full membership of the Commonwealth of the nation and accepted the British Crown as the head of the Commonwealth. So, the head of Commonwealth is British Crown, and it does not affect India's sovereignty in any manner. India can either acquire a foreign territory or it can cede a part of the foreign territory in favor of the foreign state. When we are ceding a territory, it requires Constitutional Amendment Act. When we are working towards any international uh, border disputes, it requires an executive order. But ceding a territory to a foreign state requires Constitutional Amendment Act. Now, what is socialist? The Congress Party during the Avadi session in 1955. This is in 1955 itself. They are adopting a resolution to establish the socialist pattern of the society. Right. So, what is this socialist pattern which is mentioned? Wealth is generated socially and should be shared, equal sharing of the wealth by the society. So we say here that the wealth must be shared equally. Government should regulate the ownership of the land and industry. The ownership of the land and the industry is regulated to reduce the socio-economic inequalities. Even before the term was added in 42nd Amendment Act, the Constitution had a socialist content in the form of directive principles of the state policy. So, socialistic content is found in the directive principles of the state policies. Now, wealth is generated, and this wealth must be shared equally. Government should regulate the ownership of the land, must be regulated, and industry to reduce the socio-economic inequalities. Even before the term was added by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976. The Constitution had a socialist content in the form of certain directive principles of state policy. Indian brand of socialism, we call it as democratic socialism and not communistic socialism. So we call it as the democratic socialism. Indian brand of socialism is democratic socialism. We have the Indian brand of socialism as a democratic socialism and not the communistic socialism. It is a mix of the Marxian plus Gandhianism, slightly tilted towards Gandhianism. Marx plus Gandhian is what we have, the democratic socialism tilt towards the Gandhian. Democratic socialism has faith in the mixed economy where both the public and private sectors coexist side by side. So we are having a faith in the mixed economy. So there is a faith in the mixed economy. Democratic socialism holds faith in the mixed economy. So we will be having that there is a faith in the mixed economy. This is what we call it as a democratic socialism. Both the private and the public sectors coexist. Communistic socialism is the nationalization of all the means of production and distribution or abolition of private property. Right. However, economic reforms of 1999 diluted the socialistic nature of the India. Now, secular is also added by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. Even before this term is added, the secularism is present in the form of right to freedom of religion in Article 25 to 28 has been included in the Constitution. Citizens have complete freedom to follow any religion is what secularism means. So the citizens are having the complete freedom to follow any religion, but there is no official religion. That is what the government treats all the religious beliefs and practices with equal respect. So all the religious practices, beliefs must be treated with equal respect. The Constitution not only guarantees a person's freedom of religion but also ensures freedom of from one who has no religion. Freedom of a person with religion plus freedom of the person who has no religion. Supreme Court held in 1974. Although the words in the secular state was not explicitly mentioned in the Constitution, there can be no doubt that the Constitution makers wanted to establish such a state in Article 25 to 28, guaranteeing the fundamental right to freedom of religion has been included in the Constitution. Positive concept of secularism where all the religions are given the same status and support from the state, right? This is the positive concept of secularism. Negative concept of secularism is where there is no support. But positive concept is where all the religions, irrespective of their strength, are given the same status and support. What does democratic means? Doctrine of popular sovereignty. Democratic is the possession of supreme power by the people. So what does democracy means? The possession of supreme power. We'll be having the supreme power. The supreme power is in the hands of the people. Popular sovereignty. That is the people. Right. Direct democracy is when the people exercise their supreme power by referendum, is when you are going for law and people needs to vote on this law. And plebiscite is opinion of the people. Opinion of the people is plebiscite. Recalling a official executive who is not performing his functions. Initiative, the people are bringing up a law by themselves. Indirect democracy is when the representatives elected by the people exercise. You are being elected by the people and you exercise the supreme power. Elections contribute the indirect democracy. Now, we have the Indian Constitution provides for representative parliamentary democracy. We are having parliamentary democracy under which the executive is responsible to the legislature for all the policies. What does parliamentary democracy means? We know that we have democracy, right? But we are here speaking about the parliamentary democracy where the executive is responsible to the legislature for all its policies and actions is what we call it as a parliamentary democracy. Executive is responsible for all its actions to the legislature. Universal adult franchise is also the parliamentary democracy means adult franchise. Rule of law. Independence of the judiciary and absence of discrimination on certain grounds are manifestations of the democratic character of the Indian polity. So, what are the manifestations of the democratic character? We'll be having the universal adult franchise, right? So there is universal adult franchise, and then we'll be having the rule of law and the independence of the judiciary and absence of discrimination on the grounds are manifestation of a democratic character of a nation. The term democracy used in the preamble includes social, political, as well as economic democracy. Social democracy is when a life which recognizes liberty, equality, fraternity, the union of trinity, right? Social democracy means we be having the union of trinity is liberty, equality, leaf. leaf, unity, equality, and then we have the fraternity. Supreme Court in 1997 observed that the Constitution envisions the establishment of social and economic democracy through DPSP and fundamental duties, social and economic democracy. For political democracy, we have fundamental rights for the political democracy. Republic, head of the state. Republic means the head of the state is elected. Monarchy means the head of the state is a hereditary position. It is a king or a queen, a hereditary position. Republic means the head of the state, right? The head of the state is elected over the republic, and monarch is the opposite, where the head of the state enjoys a hereditary position. Example is the Britain. Republic is the head of the state is always elected directly or indirectly for a fixed period. Example USA. In India has an elected head called the president. He is elected indirectly for a period of 5 years. Indirect elections. Republic means two things, right? Vesting of the political power. We are vesting the political power to the political sovereignty in the people and not in the single individual, right? A single individual, right, like a hereditary position. The absence of any privileged classes, and hence all the public offices are open to every citizen without any discrimination. Objective resolutions, sorry, objectives: justice, liberty, equality, and then we have the fraternity, includes integrity, right? Justice. Preamble provides social, economic, and political justice. This is through fundamental rights and then DPSP. Social justice. Social justice includes equal treatment for all the citizens without any social distinction. The equal treatment, which is based, no social distinction based on caste, race, religion, color, sex, etc. So, social justice is nothing but the equal treatment of all the citizens without any social distinction. So, we have the equal treatment of all the citizens without any distinction is what we call it as a social justice. Now, we have economic justice. Economic justice is when there is non-discrimination between people based on economic factors. There is no discrimination is what we call it as non-discrimination is what we have. Economic, based on the economic factors you are not discriminating, based on the social factors you are not discriminating. Economic factors. Social plus economic is when you have distributive justice, right? Social justice plus the economic justice is when you have the distributive justice. Non-discrimination based on the economic factors. It involves elimination of glaring inequalities in the wealth, income, and property. Glaring inequalities. So we'll be having there is inequality in the wealth, income, and property. Right. Social and economic justice, distributive justice. So we'll be having the social justice plus economic justice. So we'll be having the social plus the economic is equal to distributive justice, right? Political justice is all citizens should have equal political rights, equal access to all the political offices, and equal voice in the government. The idea of the justice has been taken from the Russian Revolution. So, justice, the idea has been taken from the Russian Revolution. Liberty is the absence of restraints on the individuals, and to develop positive, this is negative form of interpretation of the liberty, and then we have the positive form of interpretation of the liberty is providing opportunities for the development of individual personalities. Absence of restraints plus you have to provide opportunities for the development of individual personalities. Now, preamble provides liberty of the thought, expression, belief, faith, and then worship. Thought is liberty. First is absence of the restraints and providing all the opportunities. So you need to provide all the opportunities for the development. This is for the development. So provide opportunities for the development of individual personalities. So opportunity for the development of individual personalities. Right. Preamble provides liberties of thought, expression, belief, faith, as well as the worship. Right. Now, essential for the successful functioning of the Indian democratic system. Liberty does not mean a license to do whatever likes. It must be what one likes. So liberty does not mean license to do whatever one likes. It is within limitations. The concept of liberty is not absolute. Absence of the law does not ensure liberty. If there is no law, no liberty. That is what we can say. No law, no liberty. Because John Locke, in second treatise of civil government, wrote, when there is no law, there is no freedom. The ideas of liberty are taken from the French Revolution. So we'll be having the ideas of the liberty is taken from the French Revolution. Right. Equality. And absence of the special privileges to any sections of the society. There is no privilege, so we'll be having there is no privilege to any section of the society, right? Absence of the privileges, so there is no privilege to any section of the society. No privilege, we are having no privilege to any section of the society. And provision of adequate opportunities for all the individuals without any discrimination. We are providing adequate complete opportunities. So you are providing adequate opportunity for the all the individuals without any discrimination. All are equal before the law. Equality is equality before law and equal protection of the law, right? We have to explain all the concepts over here. So there is no privilege is what we have. Equality is absence of privileges is what we say equality. So what is equality? Equality is the absence of privileges. Is what we call the equality is to any section of the society, and the provision to um, adequate opportunities for all the individuals without any discrimination. All are equal before the law. The traditional social inequalities must be ended. Right, the government should ensure equal opportunity for all. The preamble embraces three types of equality: civic equality, political and economic equality. Equalities of civic, political, and then we have the economic. Civic equality is under Article 14 to 18. Political equality is 325, where everyone is eligible for voting, and 326 is elections, right? No person is ineligible for inclusion in the grounds of race, religion, caste, or sex is what we call political equality is under Article 325 and 326. So no person shall be declared ineligible. So no person you are not declaring eligible. You cannot declare that they are not eligible for inclusion in the electoral rolls on the grounds of the race, religion, caste, or sex. And Article 326 elections to the Lok Sabha and the state assemblies to be the elections are on the basis of universal adult franchise. Directive principles of the state policy. Article 39 secures men and women equal right to means of livelihood and equal pay for equal work. So the DPSP in Article 39, it secures men and then women equal right to means of livelihood and equal pay for equal work. Now what does paternity means? It's a sense of brotherhood is what we have paternity. Constitution promotes this feeling of fraternity by the system of single citizenship. So how does fraternity is achieved? Fraternity is achieved by the provision of single citizenship. Fraternity means a sense of brotherhood, right? The Constitution promotes a feeling of fraternity by the system of single citizenship. Fraternity means two things: the dignity of the individual is assured, and unity and integrity of the nation is mentioned. Article 51A is fundamental duty states that it is the duty of every citizen to promote harmony and brotherhood. Integrity has been added by the preamble by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1976. Article 1 states that India is a union of the states, so no states are having the right to secede from the union. K.M. Munshi has held that dignity of an individual does not mean material betterment, but also the personality of an individual is sacred. It is not about the material. The dignity is not related to the material. It is related with respect to personality as well. Now, preamble as a part of the constitution is Beribari Union case of 1960 states that where the terms used in the article, whenever there is any ambiguity, whenever there is a confusion in the constitution with respect to interpretation, whenever any article is ambiguous or it is capable of more than one meaning, some assistance at the interpretation may be taken from the objectives enshrined in the preamble. But the Supreme Court mentioned that preamble is not a part of the Constitution in Beribari Union case, right? So, in Beribari Union case of 1960, the terms used in any article, this is changed with the Golaknath case, where it tells that the preamble is a part of the Constitution. Any article which is ambiguous or capable of more than one meaning, assistance to the interpretation is taken from the objectives which is enshrined in the preamble, but the preamble is not a part of the constitution. In Kesavananda Bharati case, rejected the earlier opinion and preamble is a part of the constitution. Parliament can amend preamble and such an amendment the Constitution should read and interpreted in the light of the grand noble vision expressed in the preamble. Such an amendment is subjected to judicial review. LIC of India case also, the preamble is an integral part of the Constitution. Right. Preamble is also enacted by the Constituent Assembly, but after the rest of the Constitution was already enacted. This is to ensure that there was conformity with the Constitution adopted by the Constituent Assembly. So we say that the preamble is being enacted only after the rest of the constitution was enacted to ensure that there was a conformity with the constitution as adopted by the constituent assembly. It is non-justiciable and non-enforceable. It is neither a source of the power nor prohibition upon the powers of the legislation. So we say that it is not a source of the power and it is also not a prohibition upon the powers of the legislation. Amendability, preamble can be amended. This is answered in the Keshwananda Bharati case that preamble can be amended. It's subject to amendment, but no amendment is done to the basic features under Article 368. Amendment has done only once in 1976 to add three new words like socialist, secular, integrity to the preamble.